Welcome to my series From Blah to Fabulous. Wendy Antonucci here, and I am taking us from a basic grid layout today to a fabulous, well-designed, colorful, textured layout. I'm going to be using the Bella Blvd Pop Quiz collection, which was new in the January release, and I am going to document our everyday homeschooling career. For me, I don't have a lot of pictures, and my pictures are different than what your pictures are going to look like. But most all of us have a lot of pictures with school, whether it's your child going off to school, whether it's the book bags and the books, whatever you want to document, the friends. And to get all that in, sometimes that's hard unless you deal with a grid. For me, a grid is totally out of the ordinary. So let's see if we can take this from a basic grid from blah to something fabulous. Join me today.
All right, I have put down everything I had shown you. And as you can see, I'm going with a grid layout this time, which is unusual for me, but it was school and I wanted to get these pictures on there, and it just seemed, and this was so big that by the time I got this card on there and this piece, this picture, there wasn't a lot of room. So I went with a grid layout. But right now, other than decorating, I have a layout. I'm going to add a title here. I want to call this Book Learning. I have plenty of room for journaling down here. I have a few embellishments. This is a good layout. This is a layout that would easily tell your story. So there's nothing more you need to do. But if you want to take it to the next step, what I realized was I didn't have a lot of paper on here, which is fine. These were cut off from the daily detail sheet. And I have this strip, this border. So there's a lot of color, but there's just not much paper on here. So I wanted to pull in, this was actually on the back of this little piece. There was this black. And so I wanted to pull in some black. I just thought it looked very striking. It just really caught your eye. And this was kind of alone down here, so I thought it'd be kind of fun to run these along the bottom. So I like that. But then I thought, well, if that's good, let's try another one. So this is actually, again, one of the 3x4 cards, but I just cut it into a 2x2 square. And I thought, well, let's just keep adding some color. This matches the book on the flag, so I thought I'd like to bring that in. And plus, it's a school color. It matches this pencil that I'm going to get on there in a little bit. So I'm also going to put one up top. Now, I have this blue color down there, and I have a whole blue section. I don't really have anything up there. So on the back of this graph paper are the paper airplanes. So actually, I think I like it this way better. So I'm going to go like that. And I'm going to arrange these somewhat in a grid pattern, but not being too strict. I mean, I want them on there. I want them somewhat evenly spaced. So this one needs to go over some more. And think about like that. I think I'm going to scoot this back over a little bit. It seems like it's just a little bit too far over. There we go. Okay, so by doing that, I still have my grid, but I brought in some other colors, more interest. Now, along with interest, there's all these die cuts. I like this globe, but I already put a chipboard one down. My attention was caught by the test tubes, but that was in this experiment in progress, and that's definitely what our life is. Now, there are a lot of high school type physics and such, and let's see here, chemistry and biology, and while I do have two I have one that is in high school, one that is middle school, the rest of them are pretty much little guys. So some of these weren't really fitting for me, but there are a wonderful amount of different things. Also, we homeschool, so report card and stuff like that aren't really what I'm going to be looking for. But all of my kids have done Pythagorean theorem because I am a math teacher. That's what I did before I had kids, so that has to go on there. There's a fidget spinner in there, and while I don't know what that has to do with school, it would have driven me nuts when I was teaching. It's definitely one thing my kids have had, so I think I'm going to put that right there, but I'd like to pop that up because that's something they've done, well, it's been a part of their lives. It's not just something I hope is a part of their lives. So I'm going to pop that up with some of the foam squares, and I'm going to put that right there, I believe. I think I like this down here. I'm not sure where, because it adds a little bit of color, but not much because it's white. I do like the chemistry symbols. I don't know. I was thinking there and maybe just kind of there, just to kind of add some color and interest, not really anything scientific. So I think I like that. So I'm going to get that down and I will be back. All right, so now I need to put my title on. I have pictures, I have embellishments, I have color that I've brought in, I have some triangle, well, not triangles actually, because these are the turquoise, this is kind of blue. Here's red and red, but there's not really any red up here. There is some in the stripes and such. But I am going to make a triangle right now because there's this black and this black. And over here I needed to pick a color for my title, and I decided to go with black because I would make that triangle, which would pull your eyes around. Also, there was red right here, there was blue right here, there was yellow right here, the paper's white. There were a lot of colors already in use. So I decided to go with the black. Now I did put it on my ruler. It's just an acrylic ruler because that way I can see when I move it around to get it in the spot that I want it in. Also, it allows me to get the placement I want. So I'm going to remove this book for the moment. I am going to allow it to run over onto my picture just because otherwise it's going to come out too far. I like to use just another ruler to kind of hold it down and get that one out of there. It seems the best way to make sure they don't move. Now I put this on just some clear stuff because it is extremely sticky. I'm warning you, these flags will stick anywhere. And I think I want to keep it close to that. I don't want it too far away. So I think I'm just going to put it right about there. It does have the stick, so I could tuck it underneath, which I didn't tape that down, and just like that. Or I can cut it off, so we'll see. Alrighty, so I have a title, I have pictures, I have some color. The last thing that I want to add in before I do my journaling are the cardstock stickers. I tend to use these last because they are good fillers. Alright, so here they are. There is not a lot of open space. I did not glue these down yet because if there's something better, then I will definitely do that. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with the way this is going. So let's see here. Hall pass, what I learned. Let's see here. You've got this pop quiz, midterms, ready for finals, vocab, killed it, teacher's pet, got a pencil, my schedule. As you can see, most of them are high school. I could definitely, this says school rules, and then a blue border, but I don't really need another border. This might look cool kind of at the top, but before I do that, I do need to cut off the border there, as I hadn't done that yet. So let's go ahead and cut that off so we know what we're actually working with. It did cut off a little bit of those blocks, but that's okay. But now my design kind of runs over, which I like that. It continues on. And actually, I think it's a pretty well filled up layout. So the only thing that I'm seeing that I might want to add on is this school rules. And That might look neat there because there's kind of a blank space there. There's nothing going on. You could put it there. If I move this, I could put it there. I could also maybe just drape it, the school rules. Maybe just this part here, school, and then put the rules underneath it. So that's another option. Other than that, I think I've used everything that I'm going to want to use. There are these, so I might add those in, but right now I'm going to add my journaling, and I'm going to think about this, but there's my layout. So you started with a basic layout. It was fine. It would go in your books. It was probably a layout all of us created when we first started. But by adding in color, visual triangles, pop items that would pop up. For instance, you know, this. You added in a texture here. You added in another different texture over here, which I still need to glue down. You puffed up some things. By doing those different steps, you are adding in, you're making your layout go from blah to fabulous. And that is why this series will be continuing, because there's so many different ways to up our layouts. Thank you for joining me today. Give me a like if you enjoyed this, and I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel and so that you can catch more of these in this series. Thanks again for being here. Bye.